In honor of the UFC's introduction of the first belt and UFC featherweight division at UFC 208, let's take a look at the 15 best women currently fighting under the UFC banner. Tecia Torres. Tecia Torres bounced back from her first career loss with the convincing win over Bec Rawlings at UFC Houston. The win was her fourth in 5 UFC fights, but like Waterson, she fought just once in 2016. Michelle Waterson. Former Invicta FC atomweight champion Michelle Waterson has proven time and time again that she is one of the most skilled fighters in the game. The only knock against the karate hottie is how little she's fought, and we can thank injuries for that. But now that she's healthy, expect her to climb this list in 2017. Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade appears set to challenge for the UFC strawweight title after a big win Saturday night in Houston. After spending the first 2 years of her UFC career fighting much bigger women in the bantamweight division, including 1-1 series with Raquel Pennington, Andrade dropped to strawweight in 2016. Raquel Pennington. Following a split decision loss to Holly Holm in 2015, Raquel Pennington reeled off 4 straight wins, culminating in a dominant performance against Miesha Tate that saw her crack the bantamweight top 5 at the end of 2016. 2017 presents Pennington with the opportunity to potentially average the loss to Holm and maybe we earn a title shot if she keeps on winning. Julianna Pena. Julianna Pena isn't completely removed from the title picture after her loss to Valentina Shevchenko, but after forcing the fight to the ground, her comfort zone, and getting submitted, it's a pretty big setback. Pena is still very young and no doubt one of the best prospects in the division. However, she has a couple holes to plug if she wants to compete with the top 3 in the division. Cat Zingano. As far as talent is concerned, Cat Zingano has it all. She is an aggressive grappler who can strike with the best of them. Alpha Cat actually owns technical knockout wins over current champion Amanda Nunes and former champion Miesha Tate, but consecutive losses have hurt Zingano's standing in the eyes of fans. She will need to be much more active and string together victories in 2017 if she wants to climb back into the women's bantamweight title picture. Ronda Rousey. Once considered the most dominant woman on the planet, the narrative around Ronda Rousey has changed significantly since she suffered her second straight knockout losses. That doesn't change the fact that Rousey defended her belt several times while beating multiple opponents in under a minute during her reign as champion. She definitely deserves to be on this list. Holly Holm. If we did this list a year ago, Holm would stand tall as the number 2 or 3 ranked women's pound-for-pound fighter in the world. But after a tough 2016, Holm enters this list at number 7. Holm lost her belt to Miesha Tate in heartbreaking fashion to start the year and then fell to Shevchenko in a bout that has predominantly fought standing. Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Karolina Kowalkiewicz put up a strong fight the first 2 rounds of her title against Joanna Jedrzejczyk, but faded late and ended up losing the striking battle by a tone of a more than 3-to-1 ratio. Despite that setback, Kowalkiewicz is still 3-1 inside the UFC and 12-1 overall. Rose Namajunas. Potentially the most dynamic fighter on the list, Ultimate Fighter Season 20 finalist Rose Namajunas comes in at number 5. Namajunas, like Jedrzejczyk, is fierce striker, but whereas Jedrzejczyk likes to get it done with punches and elbows, Namajunas prefers to wide array of punches, kicks, and whatever other high-flying technique she can think of. The strawweight also has a silk submission game to match her all-action style. Valentina Shevchenko. After her first loss under the UFC banner to Amanda Nunes, Valentina Shevchenko went on to outstrike and outclass former champion Holly Holm and then submit grapple Julianna Pena to establish herself as the outright #1 contender in the women's bantamweight division. Claudia Gadelha's only losses in the octagon have come against strawweight champion Jedrzejczyk, and you could make the argument Gadelha won the fight the first time around. Her suffocating ground game helped her gain notoriety in MMA, but she's gotten better on her feet every time we have seen her take the octagon. Amanda Nunes. A few more title defenses could help women's bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes take over #1 spot, but for now the Brazilian superstar comes in at #3. Nunes finished 2016 as a candidate for Fighter of the Year, and for good reason. The Lioness started the year with a win over now #1 contender Valentina Shevchenko before going on the death throne Miesha Tate at UFC 200. Joanna Jedrzejczyk. UFC strawweight champion Joanna Jedrzejczyk is arguably the best women's fighter on the roster. The Polish-born fighter is a perfect 13-0 and outside of